Hello, hello. Welcome to Imminent Peril, the unpredictable, action-packed role-playing card game. This is an online version of a physical card game coming soon to Kickstarter. Please join our mailing list via the link below to be notified when our project goes live. We are gathered here today to celebrate the creativity, chaos, and questionable decisions our players will bring into our lives. Almost certainly doomed to fail, they will nevertheless attempt to survive a world of their own making, a world of imminent peril. I'm your host, Aaron Lanowitz, creator of Imminent Peril. Players, please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Andrell. I help create and bring this game to life.
Hello, I'm Ben. I'm a content creator and live streamer who's played the game a few times and still trying to figure out how to not die.
Hey everybody, I'm MK Gibson, author of the Shadowmaster series, Technomancer series, the Hammer of Witches series, and several others. I'm also part of the art team behind Imminent Peril.
I'm Penford, Pen or Penny, and I'm also a live streamer, and I've also been able to play this a few times, and I just really enjoy playing it.
We got some veteran players here up on the chopping block. All right, to start the game off, we will roll a scenario. So we are in an undersea sky gondola populated by Psychokinetic Stabby Dolls.
Sky Gondola. Okay, an undersea gondola.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what a sky gondola is?
Yes.
I might need some clarification on this whole scenario.
So basically, just picture it, instead of being in the air, it's just in the water. So it's just these little cable cars.
Right. So,
Yeah,
all right.
This gives us a starting point for our story. Would anybody like to add additional details to help glue these elements together?
Real quick, what's the quirk and menace again?
Psychokinetic Stabby Dolls.
So, stabby dolls that move shit with their mind. All right. So, I have a thought. Since it's an undersea thing, obviously you go to like underwater biodomes and things like that. So, when it's a gondola, it's some kind of transport type of thing, because we're obviously not on a cable. It's some kind of like channel thing. So, it's like we're in those large, like basically a pneumatic tube moving from one biome to the next. So, it's got to be large enough for us to like have space to move. Because if we're in a 12 by 12 or even 15 by 15 foot thing with stabby, we're just dead. That's just not fun. We're just going to die in this tiny room with murder dolls.
Somebody doesn't have confidence in their abilities.
Because if it's one of those like transport vehicles that moves from one biome, undersea biome, to the next, as we're going by the coral reef, we're in like one of those tubes. So it's got to be big enough to be. So there's like think more like a blimp type of thing that's moving underwater, that's transporting us from point A to point B. So you have an interior, you have a like a lounge section, maybe the mechanical section.
I got the Stabby Dolls pinned down. So there was a barge shipping toys across the sea right above us. Yep. It went through the Bermuda Triangle, didn't come out right, and as it was drifting, it finally rusted out and sunk right on top of us. So now there's just lots of like little Stabby Dolls like clinging to the glass that we can see through, like ping ping,
coming through, like yeah.
I like the idea that it's pinned down our sky gondola too. So that's like now we're kind of trapped as well.
Oh, like the whole barge, not just the Stabby Dolls, but the barge like kind of crashed down on us, yeah.
I have a real life experience that's very similar to this. I have seen a real life haunted Stabby doll. And it was at a museum of the Archive of the Afterlife, and they've got a room of haunted, possibly possessed dolls. And they have one on display, and it is still holding its little shiv. And they have it in an aquarium, and my big issue is it's getting in an aquarium glass case, but there's no lid to it. It's just hanging out there with the shiv still in its hand. I'm like, there's an issue with this doll possibly wanting to stab people, and you haven't even disarmed it? The doll, I didn't get any vibes. It didn't try to stab me, but sorry, I just needed to share that. I needed to share that experience with you guys.
So I wanted to answer Gibby's question a little earlier as to why we'd build sky gondolas under the sea. And it's because sky gondolas were literally what turned around several countries in Central America and made transportation possible in their cities. And since our biomes were kind of scattered on the seafloor at different elevations and all over the place, and we were just discombobulated, they thought, hey, if it worked up there, it's going to work down here. And that's why we have it.
And can we also say it's Sea Lab 2021?
Exactly.
Or 2020.
That's where I'm going with this. Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of science happening and a lot of sketchy like maintenance staff on top of the recently crashed barge. Now that we all have a good idea of what the scenario is like and kind of the world around us, we need to put ourselves into the scenario as characters. I'm going to be the guy at the very end of the gondola with the lever that's like, I just keep yanking on it trying to get it going again.
I want to be in the lounge as the bartender.
That is so lovely because, like, I am at the bar right now, having a lovely drink that you made. Just enjoying my trip down here to visit Sea Lab 2021. It's just, I've been wanting to come down here and visit and see for
2025 with lawsuits.
2025, Sea Lab 2025. And it's just, okay, I've only been waiting about a month, but it's been such an anticipating month.
Well, I don't think the grand opening is going well.
Ben, who do you want to be?
Yeah, so I am actually a representative of the toy company that developed these Stabby dolls, and it's just a freak coincidence that I happen to be in this situation now where we're pinned down. So I'm totally trying to play off like I have no involvement whatsoever, or like I don't know what's happening, while I'm filing corporate emails in total panic that the situation is going to be all over the news soon.
I found them. They're everywhere.
Only because he was so much fun last time, I want to be the returning corporate douche nozzle, who is the guy who helped fund the biomes that we were traveling between 2025 and 2026. We're in between the two. Obviously, big money, and he's very toxic, very over the aggressive, very aggrandizing, and he's like, oh, not again. All right, like crack. All right, how are we gonna make a buck off of this? All right, so yeah, I'll be the corporate douche again because I do well at that.
All right. That is everyone. I will deal targets. For the sake of our audience, there are some general rules that apply throughout the game. Number 1, fun first. If everyone is okay with something, it can happen. This is a lighthearted game taking place in our shared imagination. Any disagreements can be put to a vote, and then we move on. Number 2, free will. Players have autonomy over their own character. Other players cannot dictate what you say, think, feel, or how you react to events. Number 3, yes and. This is an improv game at heart. The world is what we make it. You can add new details at any time, though they should make sense given the story so far and should not contradict existing details. I'll share other rules as they apply to other phases of the game. So, Phase 1, Peril. Each round, players will be given a new target card. Alright, so let's do a quick recap just to remind the other players as to where each of us was and what we were doing, so that we can each focus on who our target is, because it's going to be up to us to put them into the next danger. I'll go first. I was jamming mightily at the lever to try to make the undersea gondola, keep moving and get people out of the dangerous situation.
Quick question for the group as we're doing this for our own mental picture. Are we considering this gondola to be an open floor plan? Like there's a section in the back, like it's large enough that there is a section for the bar, there might be some engineering above us, or is this like one big open floor plan, or are there levels? How are we dealing with this?
Oh, levels. So the seats like a double-decker train, right? So
Okay.
we've got
Like a triple bus kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah, so we will have, the lounge level, the open area, like maybe the very end is completely
Like an observation thing at the
compartmentalized.
top, like a dome at the
Yep.
top of the observation, a
Yep, and
mid-level
then-
lounge and bar, and
and then
first floor
seats.
basement level engineering where he's driving.
Yep, and the poor people seats.
So each of these gondolas is like a small hotel, staffed and moving through the tunnel system.
For rich people, yes, of course. Let us do that.
Very well. No,
right,
that
so-
makes perfect sense.
Yep, so I'm in the bar, so I'm in the middle area, so Aaron's going to be on the back, probably near the end, bottom floor back. I'm in the probably dead center in the middle is where the bar would be, so everybody can still see around.
Okay, I've got that toy company money as a, higher up within the company, and I am in a luxurious part of the lounge on my laptop while I'm, sending emails about corporate and stock and all that stuff.
I'm actually going to be up on the top on the third floor at the observation deck, checking everything out, watching where we're coming from, where we're going to, and how do I, like we have good biomes now, but what else can we do with this? Can we bring some tourists down here to get some more money to look at the coral, looking at different ways, different avenues to exploit
pieces of the coral.
workers, and also is there a way we can like exploit the Bermuda Triangle? Can we turn this some way into a profit? But yeah, observation deck, top floor, looking in, then like obviously like murder dolls, so that's where I'm at.
And I'm also in the lounge area at the bar, having another lovely drink, because I've been waiting to come down here to Sea Lab 2025 for apparently a month, and I can't wait to tour the facility, see the science.
All right. So you're going to determine how circumstances are evolving to put your target into new imminent peril. This should be something immediately fatal if they do not act. Focus on what they said they were doing and how that is leading them into a new deadly situation. Once you know what their new peril will be, flip their card over. All right. I'll go first. Penny. So you're sitting there at the bar, enjoying the luxury that you knew under Sea Lab 2025 would be. There's a... You're not alone at the bar. As you're just taking in the sights, you look over and one of the patrons sitting at the bar with you is a little short. You look over and you see them knocking back like just a full bottle of high top shelf whiskey, kind of swaying a little bit in their oversized seat, and they look up at you, and it's just this crazed, raggedy, sopping doll with like messed up like torn Stitch's mouth. It clearly like cut it open itself to try to get the alcohol in, and it looks up at you and is like, "What are you looking at?" With a tiny but surprisingly deep voice, and it smashes the bottle on the counter, and it just tries to jab at you with the broken bottle, going for the throat.
Aaron, you're in the back. You're in the engineering, all the way in the back corner. And that lever that you're pulling on you're trying to make it go because we're stuck by the barge. We're a little trapped. And so you're like trying to restart it, except that what you're pulling, right, deals with the engine that's on the outside. And the reason we're actually stopped is because all the dolls have come in through that engine, and they're climbing in through the fan grate. And as you push on that, you're actually pushing them. You're actually helping like suction them in closer. And then now all of a sudden they've come in through part of the system that connects to your handle. So you go to pick up that handle piece and push it again, and coming up out, like the whole handle just comes up off in your hand and coming out, Stabby Doll, right at your face.
All right. Well, Andrell, you're working a late shift here on our underwater gondola at the bar, and as a bartender you're making drinks, and you turn around and you've got this martini glass that you're mixing your next drink into, and all of a sudden something drops into the cup and you're looking at it confused, and you reach in there because you don't want to serve a drink to a customer, and you pull out this little button that is too small to be a button for like regular sized clothing, and you look up to see where this button came from and realize that there's an air vent right above you, that a chain of Stabby dolls are slowly lowering themselves above you, and the bottom Stabby doll has his little toy knife, and he is looking at you with ill intent and is going to try to stab you, as Stabby dolls do.
They're all Stabby Dolls. Got it.
All right. Ben, how are you, sir? How you been?
I'm okay for now.
Yeah, for now, you're okay. No, now, we know the speed of technology. Today, we learned about the speed of technology and what's going on in the world like that. And you, my friend, are really getting the speed of technology because thanks to the snafu of the ship crashing of Murder Doll Inc. Corporate toys, and you being one of the CEOs thereof. But unfortunately, the board is not happy. You're the CEO on site. You're checking your email. You're sitting at the lounge, at the nice part of the lounge too. Not near the bar side of the lounge. The private lounge. The velvet rope lounge with the best Wi-Fi. And the Wi-Fi is so bloody good. Your computer comes across like you've been terminated, exploding in 5, 4, 3, 2. You being held accountable for this snafu, and by blowing you up, hopefully they'll take this out and they can brush it all over. So the board is murdering you through a viral bombing your laptop. No Stabby dolls this time, just a boom in your face, sir.
Fantastic.
So, Gibson, you're up there at the observation, watching it all fall down like, wow, it's raining dolls on top of the observation window. And again, they're not just dolls, they are Stabby dolls. So there's one, and you're kind of like getting closer to the window to, get a better view. And one lands on, and it just starts chipping away. Like it is just drilling unpausably fast. And there's a little bead of water, and some cracks forming. And so in the next few seconds, that glass is going to break, and the ocean is going to come in to the gondola, drowning you first.
Does everybody feel sufficiently threatened?
Sufficiently.
Phase 2, survival. Pick one of your abilities to help explain how you are trying to survive. Abilities will come with a couple more rules. Number 4, the elephant rule. An ability can affect up to an elephant's amount of stuff. For example, you can summon up to an elephant's weight in bees, but not every bee in the planet. This limitation only exists when we're actively using an ability, not in the previous phase where we put each other into peril. Number 5, you done messed up. Changes that result from an ability are permanent. For example, if you summoned an elephant's worth of bees, that does not necessarily mean they're under your control, so now there's an elephant's worth of bees in the vicinity permanently. Number 6, keep it fresh. An ability can only actively change the world in the round that it's played. So even if there are permanent effects, you can't activate an ability again to help save you in a different way. It's a one and done, only in the round that you use it. Number 7, wild card. If you're not happy with your current options, discard an ability to draw a new one, but you must use the new one immediately. So high risk, maybe reward. All right, once you know how you are trying to survive with one of your abilities, place it face down in front of you. Make sure to read the card title and description as part of your explanation so everyone knows kind of the scale and scope of the ability that you're trying to leverage. I'll go first. So, I'm trying to pull the lever to get the gondola running again. Things aren't going well. I hear a big old creak. Turns out I'm just pumping murder stabby dolls into the compartments. And at the very last yank, it breaks off and one of the dolls are shooting up in my face. Luckily, though, using weather manipulation, I can manifest and control weather phenomenon. I see it spring out of the floorboards, and I've been working the gondola scene for a while now. I wasn't so much expecting a stabby doll coming at my face, but I was very much expecting a leak to spring at any moment, and I was prepared. So as it shoots up from the floor at me, I immediately freeze it. So it ices over and falls to the ground next to me.
All right. So I have a barrel of monkeys, but instead of monkeys, it is the stabby dolls coming down the air vent, and one is getting ready to attack me with its weapon. So what I have is improvised armory. I can turn anything into a lethal weapon or a reliable shield. Listen, I'm a bartender, okay? This is not my first drunk patron who's tried to do unruly things, my first bar fight. I've got this, all right? I've got this very, very, very nice organized set, right? I've got my knife for slicing things up. That'll be fine, sure. But you know what? It's even better for a doll, a wine opener. I'm gonna corkscrew it right in and put its head off.
Wow. Love the ingenuity there. That's great.
Just gonna drop this right here.
So, I am in immediate danger from my company that I work for, the toy company that has manufactured these stabby dolls. And let's just be honest, you know, I'm a high-ranking CEO member of this company, and you don't get to a place like that in modern society without being very overly and extremely confident in yourself. So I'm using my Fortune Favors the Bold ability, where my confidence carries me through situations in which cowards or the clever would falter. And this is also not the first time my company has tried to remotely blow me up as a result of a blunder or mistake that I've made. So the second that I see the 5-second countdown, I spring into action, I stand up, I close my laptop, and I throw it like a frisbee across the gondola, and I'm just sitting there and like shaking my head. I can't believe they're doing this again after my last performance report was so good.
Quarterly cuts.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks to Miss Penny, however you prefer your term of address happens to be. I'm staying in the observation deck, really trying to soak in how the best ways to profit off of this debacle as I do in all things, you know, because I can, and it feels good. And look at close, get a little stabby dog, and I get a little closer, and he says tap, 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 tap-a-roo right through the glass, and they're trying to poke that glass right then. A little bead of water starting to come in, and I don't care for that at all. What we care about is, unfortunately, the passing of Mr. David Lynch, a famed director who recently passed away, who I truly love. And I, as being a child of the 80s, I grew up watching his version of Dune over and over and over and over again. And so much so I kind of prefer it, which is why I'm going to use sound effects. Because that's what he added to his version of Doom. I'm going to go, Moadib, 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 Moadib. And the sound blast is going to knock this murder doll into, shatter them away. And I'll put a little bit of duct tape right there on the glass. And then walk away. And think of more ways I can profit off of this debacle. Then I'm like, there's got to be a way. Maybe we could turn this into a ride. Yeah, maybe we could turn this into a ride. Like, the thrill of your life ride. And then I started walking away. I think I might go down and get a drink. So I started walking down to the bar section.
Okay, so there's this like strange short man at the bar, just like puzzling entire things of whiskey. Like they're a little short for me, but you know, I'm not sure if you guys know this about me, but I have a magnetic personality. I can bend and reshape metal, but I can also make friends super easily. So you come here often? Because I'm just with it because, you know, I'm down for this because you just such a great drink that I've had, and he's had a whole thing of whiskey, and I'm like, so tell me about yourself. Like, what am I looking at? I'm looking at you, silly. Tell me about yourself. I want to know. And like, the doll can see that, holy crap, this woman, she's serious. And we just start talking. Like, he puts down the bottle that he was about to like go at my neck with, because he's like, she wants to make a connection with me? A haunted doll? She doesn't just want to decapitate me or burn me alive or keep me in an unenclosed aquarium with my ship for all eternity in a museum. And so we like really get to start talking. And like his life story is, did you know his name was Hester? His name is Hester. And he loves knitting. You guys wouldn't know these things if you actually stopped to talk to these dolls. So anyway, Hester and I are like BFFs now.
What's his credit score?
We're not that close, but like I can tell he's like clearly like a 650-ish. I can tell by the way he looks.
I love that you chose knitting because it's kind of just like stabbing, but with crafts. So it's very fitting for.
It's yarn stabbing.
Stab him,
yarn
choke
stabbing.
him, throw away
Right.
the body. Don't you know how to knit? Stab him, choke him, throw away the body.
Just how Graham taught me.
That was amazing. So the next step
And I
is
wanna
going
take up
to
knitting.
be. So no, not teaching you how to kill me. Phase 3, resolution. We are next going to vote for who we personally think is least likely to survive based on their peril and how they are using their ability. You will not need to justify your choices. It is strictly a personal opinion. To prepare for voting, we'll go around and do a brief recap of how we are surviving our peril. While keeping it short, spin the recap as best you can to sway your audience in your favor. This might be a hilarious time for other people to step in and comment about how poor a plan may be. All right, I'll go first. So as the Stabby doll was firing out of the broken up mechanics of the floor, I flash froze it and it drops like an ice cube next to me.
The doll is coming down out of the vent in the chain and trying to stab me. I instead used my improvised armory to take a wine corkscrew and jab it in and rip its head off.
As any successful CEO for a large corporate toy company would need to be, I am just exuding confidence. And as they've tried to blow me up literally and fire me, I've thrown the laptop far from me before it could explode.
Using my ability to sound effects, I Moadib this guy, blew him back off the dome and duct taped it, and then went to go find some blue collar person to fix it permanently because, money. We need this money, so yes.
I befriended the little murder doll that was about to come and murder me, and we're like besties now. We're ride or die now.
Amazing. All right, so once you know who you would vote for, pick up a token. Once everybody has a token, I'll say 3, 2, 1, drop. So 3, 2, 1, drop them, put them on the person.
They don't like this character, it seems. That's fine.
No worries. So warm-up round, everything that we said happens exactly as we said, but anything that we left out or didn't specify, the next person to imperil them has creative rights to twist that around. All right, so
So it's established then Hester does have a credit score of 650.
And his name is Hester.
you firmly believe that he does. He exudes 650 credit score. So there is a phase 4 escalation, but since nobody is dead, we'll skip it this round. Every round, the target shifts so that each round we're putting somebody new in peril. Once you know what new peril your target would be in, flip the card. And if anybody needs a recap of what their target was doing, just say so. All right, so
Everyone's ready.
Andrell, you start off this round.
Yeah. Okay. So, Penny, while you've made really great friends with Hester, Hester didn't learn to knit on his own. He had a knitting buddy who sees you as honing in on her territory. She has cultivated this doll. And now Hester's knitting companion, Gina, is very, very mad at you. So in addition to being stabby, she's like cruelly, viciously stabby. So she decides that one knife isn't enough. And instead, because she's got telekinesis, she's picked up all the knives from the bar and is turning them at you and shouts, "Get away from my knitting partner!" and throws them at you.
All right, Ben, how are you killing Aaron?
Yeah, so, Aaron, I like to imagine that your life up to this point has been a comedy of errors. And while you have successfully escaped your imminent doom by using your weather abilities to freeze this water and this stabby doll that's been coming at you, now the entire ground you're standing on has turned into, this ice slick, and you lose your balance and you actually end up falling towards the spiky doll that has frozen into this sharp directed angled skewer, and so now you are slipping and falling and about to be impaled by the very thing that saved you on the last round.
Sweet irony. Yes. All right, Andrell, how you doing? Ace is fantastic. Love to hear it. All right, so in the last round, Mr. Ben, being so accustomed to being bombed, like this is not his first rodeo, he whipped that bomb, he closed the laptop, hucked it off, didn't care where he frisbeed it, and ping, ba ding, 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 and it came bouncing around, landing right near the bar onto where you, right after you just got done stabbing that other murder doll with a screwdriver, the corkscrew out of it and popped its head off and all that stuff. I mean, there's going to be some broken glass, there's going to be some broken bottles. I mean, clearly a few seats down, there's some whiskey where Hester smashed that thing to the ground. A lot of flammable alcohol and one big exploding laptop coming right at you. Kaboosh. It hits, it explodes. It's only meant to kill a person. So right now it didn't hit you, but the fire from all the exploding alcohol and you're behind the bar. That's your imminent peril.
Excellent.
Well, yes, and because I was going to use the laptop.
Damn it.
But
Sorry about that.
it's okay. The laptop exploded. I can still make this work. The laptop exploded closer to the bar, where there's a lot of spilled spirits. Those alcohols, they all catch fire, and it just happens to make a trail back into the VIP room. There we go. I'm back into the room I need to be in. And the room I need it to be in is also now on fire, which is the room that you are in. I'm sorry, Ben. So the room is on fire and it seems like they really kind of cut the corners when they were making this VIP lounge. It looks all flashy, but unfortunately it's also going up in a flash. And as safety precautions, because this is an underwater vehicle, the smoke detectors in the VIP lounge immediately sense the smoke because someone in the engineering department knew what they were doing. It was like, let's not have everyone die, So anyway, the fire doors immediately come out of nowhere and just... So you're in the VIP section. The fire has spread into that VIP section because everything is just super flammable in there. And they realized that was a mistake. So that just makes the VIP fire doors immediately close.
All right. Gibby.
What up, dude?
You threw the duct tape on. Somehow it worked. And that
smartly, I might add, and I survived.
Yep.
Alien duct tape. And now I'm walking my way down to the bar lounge. Yes. Get a drink.
So that left this peeved off little stabby doll on the other side of the glass, like just watching you walk away all calm. Like it
No, I
didn't matter.
shoved him back. I used my sound effect power and blasted him back.
Yeah, no, he's further back, but he's floating there looking at you, just walking away as if he was just a little murder doll or something. Like this little guy, he came out to this ocean to make a name for himself. He's here to do some big stuff. So
Okay.
He bunches up his little arms and he squints his eyes real hard. And then he looks up at the barge that's cracked open over top of this. And taking a note from you, he sees one of the crates that's just barely hanging on, tipping over an edge. And he screams and he rips it down and it's coming to crush the entire observatory. The whole floor is going to be just squashed and crushed flat. So once you know what ability you would use to survive, go ahead and put it face down in front of you.
This might be my death, but I'm going. If this is my death, so be it. I don't care. All right.
Andrell, you're first.
Okay, so listen, I know how the Sky underwater gondola is laid out and how it works. And I know that as long as engineering hasn't been compromised, that's the most reinforced area. That's the area they're more likely to blast and scuttle the rest of it than they are the engineering part, because they can then rebuild around it and just kind of mark those losses off, just because. So planned for this, just in case anything ever went wrong. I am a master of mysteriously freeing myself from constraints and entrapments. So basically, I take this fire that I'm surrounded in, and I go, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go down. So I open this little hatch under my bar, and I say, hey, what was my extra alcohol storage that hasn't gotten caught on fire yet? I'm going to go in there, and then I'm going to... Don't worry, it gets better. So to escape the flames that are encircling me and the bottles that are getting ready to explode, I go into more alcohol storage area. But one of those is a slide that goes down into the level below me. So that's what I do.
That was some fun engineering. I'm glad they put the slide in.
All right, so my plan has backfired slightly. Our gondola is catching fire, and I am arguably in the worst place for a fire to be happening, right? We've got this lush VIP furniture, and not only that, the fire doors have closed, locking me into this area. But as a reminder for my character, this is not the first time that this company has tried to blow me up and literally fire me. And the first time that this happened, I unfortunately did lose my leg, which none of you had realized because I have an integrated weapon system. where a part of my body is actually a weapon that has been disguised as a limb or appendage. And having learned my lesson the first time and knowing that I was probably going to deal with more fiery explosions in the future, I would argue that a lot of random everyday objects could be considered a weapon. And the weapon of choice that I have right here, posing as my leg, is a fire extinguisher. So I reach down, I lift up my pant leg, and I grab my false leg, my fire extinguisher leg, and I quickly and efficiently put out the room, as I've done so many times. I don't know why I still work here. And I am now safe, locked away, but safe from the fire. Whew. Glad I had that with me.
I'm up next. All right, so when we established this douchebag character that I happen to be playing, not me, the character definitely knew some country club foo in the past one because he was a master of martial arts, but he's been evolving. He's been evolving since then. And the one thing that he got really good at, like as all good nerds do, because when you take your martial arts to the next level, you've got to have rogue skills. You become a master rogue. It's not just about knowing where the traps are and how to disarm them or backstabbing like that, but sneaking, stealing, but again, you got to know where the traps are and what are potential traps, to include the bloody door that's separate, that saves us from the explosions. Like if water decompression happens. So I quickly turn around, pull the knife from inside my pocket, open the panel lid, pull the hydraulics, the door slams shut. I give the doll the finger as it goes down. Yeah, sure. The observation deck smashes, but we are safe because Andrell said in the very beginning, there are bulkheads designed to prevent water from spilling over for the decompression. So yeah, the observation deck is gone. It's flooded. Great. Little murder doll who really wanted to get his name out there and be something. I give him two big old fingers as the door slams shut. Thanks to my knowledge of traps and what could be a trap. Save myself, and I continue down to the bar. It's on fire, and I just want a drink. Man, where are the poor people who give me drinks? And that's what happened.
Okay, so I love Herschel. We're having such a great time. But Gina?
Hester, his name is Hester. Don't cheat on him.
Wait, what did I just say?
Herschel. Now it's Hester.
You've had a lot of drinks.
Oh, you got the name wrong. Oh, he's right there. Oh.
Dude. It's the booze. He gets me. He understands. He just drank an entire bottle of whiskey, okay? And his body mass is really small, so I don't think he noticed. Anyway, Hester and I were just like, oh my god, you love this? I love this. Gina gets really mad. Gina sees that I'm encroaching on her territory. She's put a lot of time to this knitting friendship. And so she's gonna take revenge. She's picking up all the knives. They're coming right at me. I notice, but luckily, I happen to pack on this trip my big red crown. I have a magical drawing implement, and whatever I can sketch quickly enough becomes real. Well, I immediately reach out and start drawing. Yes, that's right. A giant ball of yarn. It's
really
a
well done.
Giant ball of yarn. It's a sphere. It's a sphere of yarn. It's about 4 feet by 4 feet, proportionately well-sized knitting needles coming out of it. So the knives are coming at me, but they get slowed and stopped by the giant ball of yarn. And Gina's like, I do love yarn. I'm not reusing my ability. I just still have that magnetic personality. I just want to say, I'm not reusing it, but that's still just a fact. And I'm like, Gina, girl, get your ass over here. Come on. And so, I kind of went her over too. So I stopped I don't mind the fact that she, acted out with the knives. I understand where she's coming from. She's feeling left out. No, I am slowly building an army of stabby dolls. But it's my little army has grown by another one. So she does not stab me. And I'm like, girl, look at all this yarn. Do you think that Hester and I can knit this by ourselves? We need you, girl. We need you.
All right, so I'm slipping on my my overexuberant iced floor, and I'm falling with my head about to be impaled by this little frozen statue with the knife sticking straight at my face. As I'm falling, I look down, and I'm like, oh no, not again! And I grab my head, and with a sound, with my modular body, I can swap out my body parts with things around me. So I'm falling, and I pop my head out of the way just in time to pop in the stabby doll by the knife handle. So its little knife handle just inserts straight into my neck, and now I got a new head. My head is a frozen stabby doll.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah, I did not.
So, but I am still now on my knees with my neck down into the frozen doll on the floor. That's a problem for next round.
Sure.
Okay.
One sentence recap. All right. So the entire bar is on fire around me, and all the alcohol bottles are kind of exploding. So I use my escape artistry and my knowledge of how this air blimp underwater thing air gondola, sky gondola, water gondola was built. And I go into my little drink chute that I have for the lower deckers and go, you know what? I'm just going to go down that. I'll be a drink.
Nice. I was trapped in a room that is on fire, but due to my experience with these kinds of situations, I was able to remove my false leg, which was a fire extinguisher, and put the fires out.
I was a rogue, among many things, and having that knowledge of backstabbing and stealing and cheating comes traps and locks, and knowing that, I knew exactly how to pop the hydraulics, to drop the watertight seal, to prevent the flooding from the now decompressed observation deck as I meander my way down to find myself a drink, again, from the poor people. Where is that poor lady who gives me drinks, and why is she not at her station?
I draw and create out of nothingness a giant ball of yarn, thus stopping the knives that were coming straight at me, the telekinetic knives from stabbing me, and I make a new friend along the way.
And I, as I was slipping and falling towards this little frozen stabby doll, I recognized that this would be a much better head than my current one was doing, because it didn't see any of this tragedy coming. So I my head off and fall, inserting the new head into my neck. Once you know who you would vote for, pick up a token. All right, 3, 2, 1, drop them. All right.
I just want to say, exchanging your head for a frozen block of ice doesn't sound like you have a brain anymore.
That's kind of why I voted. I mean, I'm supposed to call somebody out or explain your vote, but that's why I went there. I was like, you just took your head off. And
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fair. In preparation for my C-Lab 2025 life, they wanted all of their personnel to be interchangeable. So they gave us what they explained to us to be modular bodies. Everything was interchangeable. I thought that my head was part of the deal. I was wrong. That was not true. So
I just want to say you fell asleep during that part of the instructional video.
I was not the most attentive of new employees. So as I slipped and fell, and I grabbed a hold of my head to try to pop my head off, it just didn't come off. Like I made that sound with my mouth, but I just kind of like stretched my neck out as I kept falling, and then the stabby doll right in the eye. I am still there on my knees, just face down now, impaled on the stabby doll. And this would also be the first time that there is a dead player. So phase 4, escalation. Death is not the end of the game. Fallen players continue to vote, but more importantly, every round they add something new to make the general situation even worse. You can build on current events, bring back a forgotten detail, or add something entirely new if it makes sense given the story so far. This cannot focus on a particular player, but instead should be a problem that could affect anyone. Let's do something with that giant crate of toys that fell on top of the observatory deck. So the giant crate, as you guys were all just trying to survive your individual perils, as Gibby gave the double middle fingers to angry Ocean Steve the Destroyer, you feel the entire gondola shake violently as that giant crate of something crashes into it, and the entire observatory deck is gone. But in the second deck down, the alcohol deck, you see a corner of this giant thing just break through, and there's a little bit of water trickling, but surprisingly not that much. Like, it's plugged its own hole into the gondola. But then, one of the double doors on the side kind of rustily falls open, with the sound of like a bit of like nails on the chalkboard screeching hell scream. And the whole compartment just floods with stabby dolls of all kinds.
More friends.
Sure. Some might be friends. So Ben, you are the new first.
Okay. I'm gonna kick us off here. So Gibby, you're coming down the stairs and you're looking to have a relaxing drink, having survived some perilous situations already. But as we've learned, things are really ramping up here on our gondola, and there's a lot of, big furniture sliding around. We've got water flooding compartments, murderous stabby dolls. But one of the automated systems that this gondola has is when it detects water and a breach, it automatically starts to try to suction all the water back out, right, to keep the living quarters safe for everybody. The only problem is in the lounge area, we're not flooded yet, and it just so happens that the exhaust system in the gondola is near the staircase, and you are now being suctioned up and into the exhaust fan that is trying to, siphon this water out of the compartment, even though there's no water. So
it's like
due to
above me
this-
then?
First,
Yeah, we'll say it's like a little bit off to the side of the stairwell, right?
Sure,
I
sure.
imagine you're
Okay.
coming down, and then it's just like, whoa, and you start to get sucked into
Sounds
this.
great. Love it.
Yeah, the safety system that's gone wrong.
Sounds rather unsafety system.
Pen. We established that this is knitting friends. That's what you're trying to create, is knitting friends. And, you didn't use your power of animal magnetism. It's just something you happen to have. And Cora is like, Hester is kind of, we can talk. We can talk about knitting. We can talk about...
Wait, you mean Gina?
Gina. Well, I thought we named her Cora Gina. Okay, sure, Gina. Yeah, Gina.
Okay.
Gina the murder doll. And she's like, you got Hester or Herschel, however you want to refer to them. And so she comes over to sit down and has a conversation about like, well, when I get to stabbing and I'm doing this, he's like, yeah, stabbing, knitting this. And there's a nice conversation. But unfortunately, because we do have a new batch of psychokinetic murder dolls, like, oh no, not for this crap. They already see the flaming bar right there. So they use their psychokinetic powers to pick up flaming shrapnel, whip it across the air into that giant ball of flammable yarn that's between all of you now. So now that giant 4-foot thing of highly flammable magic yarn is now on fire, burning alcohol fire, and it's like, unfortunately you drew it, but it looks like the really bad synthetic ones, so it's like it's spreading very fast.
And like melting.
Oh yeah, so now you've got a big ball of napalm yarn preparing to burn all three of you, just down to the core, right there in the middle of the section. And the worst part is now that this exhaust fans right there, it's sucking all this air and it's making the fire get bigger. Honestly, weirdly enough, it's just pulling all the air into it, and now it looks
Fire
like the
follows
back
oxygen.
of your room. Yeah, it looks behind your room. So, yeah.
You know what? I can look past the trying to murder us. I get that. But that's just rude. That is just rude. That is my yarn. They are rude.
They're not nice dolls. They are psychokinetic stabby dolls, and they use the
That's just
psychokinetic this
rude.
time, and not the stabby. You know what? Talk to the CEO of Murder Doll Inc. He's right there. So that is your
When
peril.
I get home from C-Lab 2025, I'm going to write a
Strongly worded letter.
very strongly worded letter. Yeah.
terse, full of terse terminology.
Yep. Okay. Anyway, so Andrell, how you liking the slide?
smaller than I thought, given the drinks I send down versus my body.
Yeah, I imagine it's a bit of a tight. You think that, like that friction of like being a bit tight, squeeze, that you wouldn't be going that fast, but you're going rather fast down this slide, and
It's gotta be
it's
lubed
cold.
up
It's been
before.
iced over. What?
It's gotta be
Yeah,
lubed
the
up
slide
before,
has been
so-
iced over, as though someone was using weather magic to like freeze the area. So you're going very quickly down this slide, and you can kind of see what you're going towards is like this room of like frozen stabby doll knives sticking out of jagged ice, and one of your coworkers is not beheaded but has a dull knife sticking out of his head and just on the ground, and like I'm sure that's kind of shocking and jarring, but yeah, so you're going rather
he
quickly
was the dumb one in orientation. It's fine.
rather quickly towards like frozen icicles, like stabby icicles and knives, and yeah, so that's what you're going towards.
I apologize in advance for this. Hey Ben, they knew how good you were at dodging their attacks, given how often they have tried to kill you. They decided that they're going to have a backup plan, and that backup plan was that they put your face and your location on LinkedIn, and sure enough, in this gondola with you is Luigi Mangione.
Oh goodness.
Oofda. Well played.
Boy.
Very topical.
And you in the process of being shot.
All
Sorry.
right.
As soon as you said CEO, I'm like, oh my god, I hope I survive long enough to do that.
That's fair. You're just number 2 on his lineup. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
So you're still in the VIP section. He's been sitting there the entire time, hiding there, waiting to pop out.
Yep,
He's been waiting for like hours.
You didn't notice this
He got a
whole time that
Starbucks first.
smile?
Oh man.
Cap hid the smile, but the open shirt couldn't hide the abs.
Serves you
So
right
once-
for not noticing the smile.
Once you know which ability you'll use to help you survive, put it face down, Freddy. Yeah.
I struggled with this round as well.
Yeah, my
I'm
powers
kind
weren't-
of torn between.
Don't forget the
Two.
wild card.
I
go
know,
wild
because like
card.
I know what I want to do.
We haven't featured a wild card yet. I'll do it. I'll be the sacrificial wild card. So do I just drag a card to discard?
Yep. Throw it in discard and just drag the ability onto your pile. Feel free
I don't
to
even see
flip
that yet.
it.
Oh, okay. That works.
Like,
It's face up for me. I don't know if you guys
Wow,
can see
that
it
worked
already,
out
but-
really great for you.
Yep. So because I'm forced to use the card through the discard mechanic, I'm alone in this room, and Luigi has come after me. I'm number 2 on the hit list for this toy company corporation. This is not the first toy that we've released that has had a huge, negative reception and has tried to kill people. So naturally, I'm the next target. Luckily, though, I'm using my ability as a ninja assassin. I've mastered the art of killing things through various means without being noticed. So it's one of those situations where, I'm sitting there after I've just put out the fire, and Luigi's coming up behind me and is using their known tactic of going to shoot me from behind. And as they shoot, what they thought was me was just a big wad of furniture with a coat on it, and that topples over, and then I jump down from the rafters and go, yeah! And I karate chop them in the back of the neck and take them out before they can take me out. So there you have it.
Well played, sir. All right. Mr. Ben put me into that particular position where I'm being sucked into a vent. I imagine there's a big comedy of errors, like, whoa, whoa, as I kind of circle around as the vent's trying to suck me in, because it's trying to suck out the water that isn't there, and I'm the nearest one. Sucks to be me, no pun intended. Now, like any good, rich, villainy kind of guy, I don't care about the little people. Like the bartender lady, she's just a random bartender lady. I don't care about her. I just want the drink, and she's just not there. But the one person I do care about on this whole damn thing, that is beneath my station, of course, is the guy driving it, the guy that's working the levers. And I don't know why we built a gondola undersea that goes with lever controls. I don't know why we did that. It would look like an old-timey device, but we did it. But I know exactly who he is. I know where he's at, and because I keep a monitor on myself of all my employees, I know that he's dead. So thank God, my power of necromancy, I raise him from the undead. Arise, my undead minion! Even without a head, he's just like, up, because his muscle memory. He reaches over, grabs the shut-off valve for the bar lounge, drop to the ground safely, crack my knuckles, and go get myself my own drink. Because damn it, where is that? She is better not be downstairs. On that stupid slide. I said no to those plans, but she did it anyway. Oh, what is her name? If I can remember her name, she's so fired.
just to be clear, I have a head. It's just has a big ornament stabbed into it.
Remember, you said you tried to take it off and it didn't work, and then they got a spike through it. So your body slips up off the spike, reaches and pulls the lever to save my life. Because I made you do it, because I'm a necromancer.
Makes sense.
This is not very safe. This giant fire that's now being fanned by the suction that's going off. I'm sorry, was this supposed to suck out the water? Why the hell was that fan installed in the ceiling? Okay, water is heavy, it falls down. So this fan that is just feeding the flames and making them jump higher because fire is going to follow the oxygen. These fires are getting larger and larger. It just so happens that I love to knit, but I'm also a workplace safety enthusiast. So I have an oversized, one might say comically large, fire blanket. I just happen to have that on my person. And it is large enough to cover the whole room. So I pop that thing out okay, I get the murders, but fire is just not cool. And we were going to use that yarn. Whatever. So I get out the fire blankets, throw it down, which it seems like it's so enormous I should not be able to wield a blanket that magically kind of covers the whole room, but I can. If you're worried about the size, don't worry. If you were to take a African elephant and squash it down to about half an inch, this would be about the same.
You can spread it out.
Same amount of matter. And so I just am able to wield it and just smother out all the flames. So the room is no longer on fire. And Hester and Gina are just like, oh my God, sorry about those guys. We're sorry, Penny. We want to knit. We get this. And I'm like, yes, thank you guys. So I still have my small army. I haven't won those guys over yet, but I'm going to. I'm going to win them over with the power of knitting. I just know it. But anyway, the immediate danger of the fire has been smothered out.
All right. So I am sliding down a slide, and I'm about to be impaled by lots of frozen, sharp, pointy things. Some knives, some random jets of ice, all kinds of stuff. So I use Summon Pact. I can summon up to 10 allied creatures no larger than a horse to aid me. So I'm going to summon 10 ice polar bears from the spiky things. And they'll be between me and my landing for nice cushion. And if my impact forces, it's fine. They're sacrifices. It's okay. And then if they survive, they can live on the ice nice and comfortably because it's like their environment.
This is why they're endangered. They keep getting summoned out of the Arctic and into...
Thanks, Andrell.
Yeah, PETA, if you're watching, click off the video now.
Earmuffs,
I thought you were
PETA.
saying you're
We
going
need
to
to...
summon 10.
Nobody
10
tell
polar-
PETA about where those hamsters came from.
I thought you were going to summon
Or
him
where
inside the
they're
chute. You're like,
going.
well, that's going to be a tight fit. Okay.
I thought they were coming from there. Never mind.
All right, so to prepare for voting, quick recap.
Yep, so I was being ambushed by Luigi, and I used my ninja assassin skills to get the upper hand and eliminate them first.
I use my power of necromancy to raise the poor dead conductor so we could shut off the valve, the suction valve, to save my life so I could get my bloody drink. Thank God I know necromancy.
I have a giant fire blanket that puts out not only the immediate fires that are threatening me, but the rest of the room as well.
And I summoned cushy polar bears to go between me and the sharp shards of ice.
When you know who you'd vote for, grab a token.
Just for information's sake, so not only do dead players vote, but if you're having a hard time picking a good one, it usually means that you're the one that's going to die.
All right.
All right.
3, 2, 1, drop. Ooh. Penny, what went wrong?
Well, I did put out the fire. That was a success. It's just Hester and Gina, they weren't able to quickly tell the other dolls that I'm cool. You know, let's keep this one. You know, we've got a doll body planned out for her later on. And they're still kind of like throwing the broken glass, and that's what meets my demise. 1,000 little cuts of betrayal from my future friends. From what would have been my future friends.
All right, so escalation. Penny, is there anything that... No, whoever has an idea first, how has the general situation worsened? Let's say Steve's crawling back in. He is opening new leaks on his way, and he's still trying to make a name for himself. He's not, like, he doesn't have a specific person in mind, but he's like, he still wants to be great.
So Steve's back in. Steve the Destroyer.
Steve the Destroyer, yeah.
And, you know, I will just add to that a bit that you said, you know, some small leaks were springing up, but, you know, that shipping container full of possessed dolls has now emptied said dolls. So it's not really all that effectively wedged into the side of the gondola anymore. So it's starting to fall, and so a lot of water is now coming in.
Nice.
And it's not like that super effective drain on the ceiling is going to help you now because it's been shut off.
It's been shut
Not
off.
the fact that it was apparently on the ceiling.
Just love that. I didn't really put that together, but yeah, like drain on the ceiling. This is not correct.
Sidewall.
Something went. Maybe
But
like the
the force-
blueprints were
Listen,
upside
listen.
down.
I don't know if you know this, but it costs less money to pay for people who are dead than it does for people who are alive and have ongoing medical care. That's why it's on the ceiling.
You know what? I am going to add a little bit to that. Like, as you guys, like, if anybody took a moment to look around, you'll notice that a lot of, like, the structure would make a lot more sense if the whole thing was turned upside down. Like, maybe this was supposed to be a bottom viewing gondola, and they just installed it wrong and went with it. Like, they bolted, like, the bar and all the alcohol to the ceiling.
Makes sense why there's a ceiling. The chairs are on the ceiling. We thought that was kitschy. We thought that was like a quirky. No, it was. Damn it! All right.
That's awesome.
I like that.
So I got the same target again, but do you guys have different? Gibby has a different target. Ben, do you?
Yeah, I got a different person.
I think I had Gibby last time.
All right.
I think we have to have one duplicate here, so that's fine.
That's fine.
That's
All right.
All right.
Andrell.
So wait, who am I targeting? Ben. I've got Ben.
Yeah, you're targeting me. Mhm.
All right. Okay. Got it.
All right, and then Andrew.
Bring it, Gibby.
All right. So, unfortunately, my voodoo necromancer power has worn off. I only get it for that one round. I mean, I'm still a necromancer, but like that control is over, and now he's bumbling around, stumbling around, and I don't know why. I don't know why this operator happened to have this particular thing, but he goes over to the crate without his head, and he slips, he falls, his crate opens up, and unfortunately all this, his lunch bucket fell out, and it falls on you because it slips and it falls, and now you're covered in, I don't know why, but like seal guts and little tiny penguin bits, because he was kind of a jerk, but we let him run the operator thing. But now you have 10 hungry polar bears in a confined space that you summoned. They saved you. Now you smell like lunch. And unfortunately, this reminds me of the mongoose all over again. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So 10 polar bears, you're covered in sea mammal goo and a penguin, and they want lunch. And that is you, my friend.
Okay, so, Ben, you're in this room, you've used this fire extinguisher, you have assassinated your assassin, and everything's going really great, except your VIP is right above that bar that had all of the that heat, all the fire below it, including essentially napalm, and the heat basically has warped the flooring. It's like it's just made it so hot that it's warped, and because it's made of metal, you are now sinking into liquid metal, and it is going to burn you to death. Like, think kind of like Terminator.
Got the thumb up and a thumb. Yep. I think what we're gonna do here is using the element that we've all kind of realized over the course of this, scene, that the structure of our gondola was topsy-turvy and things were meant to really kind of be designed upside down. And given that we have learned that now, we hadn't noticed it earlier in the night, but we've just realized that there was actually, for the live entertainment portion of the VIP lounge and kind of the bar area, there's a grand piano that's been mounted on the ceiling this entire night. And it just so happens that because of all the destruction and the turbulence and the flooding, that the bolts that had bolted it up there are loose, and now this grand piano is plummeting directly on top of where you're seated, Gibby.
Fantastic. Okay.
I might have to do another discard. This is
Yeah, I'm going
rough.
to do one myself. I'm going to go with whatever they got.
Yeah,
I have to think on the
just
fly.
leave
Because,
it up to chance.
yeah.
We got spoiled
No
on
wild cards
double
three.
homicides.
Yeah.
This is what happens
All right,
when only
so
one person
I'm gonna-
dies around. Your choices
I'm going to
are
drag this over to the discard pile, and I'm going to drag this onto my character, and I'll figure it out. All right, so, is it me first, or is it back to Andrell?
Yeah.
It's you.
Nope, it's you.
Okay. Then, so I am there. There is a grand piano coming. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Thank God I'm a wizard. Master of spells, cantrips, and incredible abilities. I have studied the inner workings of magic. Fundamental level, giving me access to incredible varieties. I don't need to necessarily have the giant, because this is kind of like, master teleportation, little harder, but a Misty Step spell where you go from point A to point B, and because I helped build this place, upside down or not, there's an escape pod, my friends, and that's where I'm teleporting myself to. I'm teleporting myself from here to the escape pod. It's actually up there behind that. It's under the grand piano now that it's fallen, because that's where it was. It's only right in the, it's inside this compartment. It's slightly off to the right. Oh my God. So yeah, and then it jettisons up. It's fantastic. It's the one thing that works on this bucket. So yeah, me, teleport, piano, smashy, with a sound of 88 keys dying. So yes, I teleport myself to safety, prepare to launch myself out of this godforsaken death trap. But 2026 will be a great sea lab, I promise.
All right. So I have all these hungry polar bears coming at me. But luckily, one of the things that, we were required to do was get some kind of modification for this job, right? Thanks, Gibby. And my modification happens to be nanobots. My body is full of microscopic robots programmed to perform a single complex task, one single complex task at a time. And that task, in this case, is going to be to, harden my skin and make me Nami-proof.
That is the medical term, Nami-proof.
Nami-proof.
All right. Well, the previous fires have heated up this entire gondola, and the infrastructure is just melty and collapsing. And unfortunately, after my defeat of my would-be assassin, I've started sinking into the molten floor. Luckily, I do have the ability of superflight, where I can defy gravity and move through space at will. This does not make you impervious to collisions. So, I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty bad circumstance. I didn't realize I was halfway sunken in, but remember, I only have one leg, so the carnage isn't as bad as it could have been. But I do take off after I've sunken into the molten floor and at least, fly off and out of the immediate danger. Yeah.
All right. Quick recap before the vote.
I have teleported away, using my wizarding abilities. I've teleported away from the smashing piano into the escape pod and preparing to jettison myself to safety.
I use nanobots to harden my skin, and as a side benefit, the hardening makes me kind of slick, so the guts are falling off.
I use superflight to pull my one good leg out of the molten floor and fly out before sinking all the way in.
All right. When you know who you would vote for, pick up a token.
So, including the dead players.
All right. 3, 2, 1, drop them. Ben, what went wrong?
Yep. It's a great question. Where did it really all start? It started when I was born, and no, I says Superflight. You know, I did manage to get out of the molten floor, the muck. Right, I unstick myself, but as a result of having to use so much tremendous force to get out of the molten metal and everything, once I do pop free, I just skyrocket at lightning speeds up into the glass dome ceiling of the VIP lounge, and just absolutely like a bird into a window. The force is what takes me out, and then I fall back into the molten pit.
All right, Andrell.
2 left.
Let's do this.
Well,
no, we have to wait for escalation.
Escalate it. Escalate us.
The zombie corpse that I previously occupied, my head's gone. Dang it. New plan. As the water's flooding into the compartment and it hits the superheated molten yarn ball. So as the cold water hits it, it violently expands like an urchin.
I would say all these extreme sources of heat in the gondola, paired with the extreme cold of the entire Earth's ocean right outside, I would say the entire metal frame of the gondola is starting to crack from that temperature shock and is starting to just crumble.
My escalation, at one point we had mentioned that this container was what had pinned us down in our gondola, but that has since been emptied, and so the gondola is starting to kind of float back up from the ocean floor, and Steve, who's still trying to make a name for himself, has identified where the engines on the gondola are and has just been going to town this whole time with his little stabby knife. But unfortunately, he's only dislodged one, and so now, thanks to our, necromancy engine moving around with the levers and whatnot and only having one of our thrusters on, the gondola is going to start to slowly go into a spin.
Nice.
So it's spinning, cracking, taking on water. Okay. Yeah. Andrell, what are you doing?
Gibby, where the heck were you?
I got into the escape pod and I'm jettisoning away.
Excellent.
And flip your target cards once you know what their peril will be.
So, Gibby, you are jettisoning away, but what's recently happened, because of the whole Bermuda Triangle and the whole cargo ship that the containers were on, it's there, and it had a bunch of stuff falling over. Not just the dolls, but it has attracted the attention of the scientifically enhanced. For some reason, we decided to make smart sharks. And it sees this nice little snack in a can coming right at the area that drew its attention, because it's like, ooh, what's happening? Is there anything good in here? Just dolls. Ooh, there's something in them. I want it. So now
like
you
that
have
Far
a
Side comic where the sharks are going after the dolls like, this is a hoax, a cruel hoax. Yeah.
Yep. And then they see you, ray of hope.
Yep.
And now they're peeling your thing like it's a can of tuna for them. Oh wait,
they're biting
that's
into my
seafood, though.
escape
What was
pod.
that? Yeah.
They still eat other fish. They are jerks. So yeah,
No!
they are trying to.
Fish are friends. That's why they're eating the human.
That's what they tell you. That's what they want you to believe.
Human.
Yeah.
Let's remember my character. Human. All right.
They're not that smart. They're just smart.
Fair enough. All right.
They don't have YouTube down there. They don't know.
Okay. So your peril. It's not that bad, really. I mean, one engine in a spin going around that metal wire that's kind of like going like this. That's bad, but it's not that bad. The 10 polar bears that are still there who are now getting sick from all the spinning, vomiting on you, and it's bad, but it's not that bad. Balls of fiery this and twisting metal that, and that is all bad. That is true. All bad things. The worst part is when the guy who owns it leaves on the escape pod and doesn't want to take blame for any of this. The self-destruct happens. So, it's this entire thing is going to boom and now. So, we don't want to make our mistakes here. So blow it, scrap it. We'll come back and salvage it later. As long as the guy who owns it escapes, that's all that matters to them. So,
Okay.
all right.
All right. I was torn between wild card, but I think I'm going to do this.
I played the wild card that last one. The wizard saved me. I swear to God, because my thing was sound vibrations. I blow up the piano? ? So
Yeah. So my
No, this
thing
will help me out.
is the explosion and all the stuff whipping around me. So that's that explosion, right? That's my imminent peril.
Well, it's like the gondola is going to explode. It's one of those, like, because I left it, they're like, it's now going to go kaboosh.
So, my boss required me to get one upgrade, but decided having my own backup would be better just because, capitalism, right? Everything's cheap. And I didn't want the cheapest upgrade. I wanted a good one to protect myself in case anything ever went wrong. So I am immovable. Nothing can force me to move from where I am. I can stand there and withstand anything crumpling and happening around me. I am entirely safe from all the explosions, the wires, the polar bears. Like, it's just, they can hit and bounce off of me, all of that compression. I am, yeah.
Okay. I've got notes, but I'll leave it at that.
I feel like
Okay.
I feel like the audience
The audience will vote when it's time to vote. I mean, I'm voting for, but I don't want to sway your vote.
It was that a wild card, but also next round deals with all the fallout from it. This round, I survived the blowing up because I can't be blown.
Well, you just can't be moved. But anyway,
Everyone is judged eventually.
yeah. So
Train crumpling around me. I can take an explosion.
I am rocketing away in my little micro sub with the little propellers and the bubbles coming around the back. It's fantastic. And I'm heading all the way over. I'm heading back to the main sea level because remember, these are just the connecting. I'm heading back to the biodome where my underwater biosphere because the actual sea level 2025. We were in one of the connecting gondolas. So as some bloody sharks are swimming up on me, trying to crack my can open. The worst part is I just pressed the little button, and the little martini machine popped up my little drink there. I finally got the drink that I've been begging for this entire time. And they're trying to crack me open. I'm like, man, I just got through this. This is the worst. Why? Okay, fine. But because my necromancy power has worn off, or has it? Because I can spirit whisper still. The last echoes. I can. How does it actually read? You can communicate with and command the ghost. The more of you try to control, the simpler your commands must be. When the Flying Dutchman comes rocketing up, pushes the sharks out of the way, the ship grabs mine. It's like, save me, take me back to this main sea lab over there. Aye, aye, Captain. And they take me back, jag my little sea sub, push the sharks away, take me back and pop me into the dry dock. And I salute my sailor friends, return to my gushy bed, and think not of you poor peasants who have died for my mistakes. And clearly, now that I turn the blueprints, it was supposed to be the other way. I see it now, and the next one will be built. It would be great. But thank God my ability to command these ghosts saves me.
I feel like you actually kind of made this harder of a decision for me, Kim.
Do what you gotta do, baby. I command these ghosts to save me.
Incorporeal ghost spirit, pirate ghosts.
It's an elephant-sized ship.
Well, we know ghosts can touch things. They're called poltergeists for a reason.
He specified the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah, the Flying Dutchman from, Pirates of the Caribbean. And Gibby, you and I don't vote since it's a lot.
I was just gonna say, if we're gonna use the Flying Dutchman as the ghost, there is the whole elephant rule still. So I don't know how big the ship was.
One of their an elephant-sized ghost ship.
Of the flying ship.
Okay,
Dutchman,
the Flying Dutchman too. It's less known.
There you go.
This underwater dinghy ship comes to say, some goddamn
The
sea
flying
navy ghost
dinghy.
come and save me. That's what happens. I command ghosts to save me, push the sharks away, and I go back to my underwater mansion.
Would either of you like to do a last-minute quick recap to try to cement your case before the final
Can I
vote?
sink her case? Can I try that one?
No, just the recap.
All right, that's fine. All right. No, I just did it. I'm sailing away in my ghost with my beautiful ghost balloon and being safe.
Again, train can crumple around me. I can take an explosion around me.
It's more so the drowning that I'm worried about.
Yeah, that's where I was going with it too. All right, vote, people. She and I are not voting for each other. We're not touching it, so it's all up to you guys.
This is tough.
Remember, it's not Gibby. It's a douchey character.
I'm pretty certain it is Gibby. Gibby is a secret alien.
All right, 3, 2, 1, drop.
Oh, you people.
I thought for sure the alien was gonna win again. Gibby, I trust
I thought for sure you were going to drown. Immovable does not mean you can't drown.
Next round's problem.
Okay. No, it's over. You win. There's nothing. You just there. So apparently what had
Next
happened
round,
was
I would deal with the water.
Apparently, the ghosts, they came to save me. Then they realized who I was, and they're like, oh, wait a minute, aren't you the guy that, yeah, we were the last group that you got, that you killed us, you son of a bitch. And they turn on me, they help the sharks, and they destroy this body, this shell that this alien happens to be in. And, I may be dead now, but I might be back. Maybe. But as I sunk in the cold tomb of the ocean, and with my last gasp, I say, "Fuck the poor."
Wow.
Gibby always comes.
Such poetic last words.
So since I get to decide how the story ends, something some of you may not know is that in the original iteration of this, with Slaughterland, the last person still pretty much died anyway. So in true fashion, or honoring the spirit of this game, since my
Honoring the
last
ancestors?
rival was taken out by spirits, yeah, I gotta honor for the ancestors. I was immovable. I survived the blast of everything wrapping around me. But then, as everybody pointed out, the water, I had like a few seconds, like a minute, right, to get somewhere. But we're also so far down that the pressure would crush me, and my nanobots already gave up their shot. They needed to recharge, so I forgot about the recharge time, and I while I still had a minute to swim somewhere for oxygen, I got crushed. We all died in the end.
What a happy ending.
On the plus side, Gibby's company gets to sweep it under the rug because everyone died. Just
And
as
I
we
like to
planned.
imagine this is actually an origin story for the Bermuda Triangle, and now the real reason it's so dangerous is all these stabby dolls that are just lurking around in the ocean in this area. So there we go.
Well, thank you all for playing. We'll have some wrap up discussion afterwards, but just remember, no matter how bad things get, we can still laugh with our friends and face the dangers, if not together, at least nearby each other.